Sure, I don't think anybody thought he would play, but he's in the side and he's got to have a good game. They've got to get the ball into him, he's got to hold it up, and then Chelsea can play from there.
Today's match officials, referee Craig Pawson, assistant referees Dan Cook and Edward
referee is Craig Pawson from Sheffield, and Cook and Eddie Smart. His assistants, special assignment for them. And great friendship, of course, between the two German managers. Well, Chelsea have lost the last two finals. They won't thank me for reminding them of that, but they have to live with it. No club in the entire history of the world's oldest club competition has ever endured that particular pain for 3 consecutive seasons.
It's Chelsea and Liverpool in the Emirates FA Cup final!
As is the tradition at this time of year, the sun is shining. Cup final day, often the warmest day of spring turning towards summer. And the players, they will shortly take the knee in the continuing fight against discrimination. A message to a global audience, and we're underway. 2022 FA Cup final, two sides that know each other so well, two managers that know each other so well. Who and how is the difference going to be made here? Andy Robertson, Virgil van Dijk. They do love to get it forward early. Liverpool maybe slightly different to Chelsea in that respect. It was very warm, Stuart, when we arrived in mid-afternoon, but the shadows are lengthening a bit now. Maybe the temperature's dropping a little bit. Chelsea are good at keeping the ball, which might be an advantage in this particular set of conditions.
Well, just looking at the way Chelsea are going to try and deal with Mo Salah and Alexander-Arnold down this near side. Antonio Rudiger is going to say, I'm going to take Salah. He's pushing Alonso on to pick up Alexander-Arnold, so they are taking a slight gamble. Rudiger's got to be at his very best.
Thomas Tuchel asking that of a player who's leaving at the end of the season. But he's also said, since Rudiger announced that decision, that he has absolutely no doubt that the German defender will be utterly professional right to the end. Alexander-Arnold, roll out, but often wondered, the fullbacks do so well for Liverpool that not more has been done by opponents to try and harness Alexander-Arnold and Robertson.
There's the man in question, Romelu Lukaku. He was the player Chelsea bought. Never really thought he could even be the leading scorer in the Premier League this season. He was going to take Chelsea to the next level. It hasn't happened for him.
No, he's had a little run of form recently, hasn't he, with more opportunity. But it has been a little disappointing for Thomas Tuchel until the win at Leeds on Wednesday evening. Lukaku was amongst the scorers. He got 2 in the previous game. Diaz in for Jurgen Klopp, with Diogo Jota, the man, missing out. Must have been a tight call. Jota's been scoring big goals in big games. Diaz has, as they say, hit the ground running with his January move from Portugal.
And he does give them something slightly different. He's a better runner with the ball, probably, than Jota. Jota's movement is good, but he's not quite so good technically.
Trying to get away from Konate. Nicely taken by Alisson.
Well, all goalkeepers think they're good players when the ball comes to their feet. He probably is one of the better ones.
Diaz chasing. And disarmed by Reece James. Jorginho. Mendy. Fortunately, Salah wasn't able to control it straight away, but Liverpool are still onto it in a flash. And a touch away from opening the scoring. It was all from a bad kick from Mendy, who now finally can breathe again. As the header from Salah goes too high.
It was a poor clearance to start with. They gave the ball away. And Reece James was high up the field. Look how high Reece James was up the field. He can't get back, so Chalobah's got to do the 1v1 defending. And it's almost brilliant from Diaz. I thought he was going to shoot, but he just lifts it into that far post area, and it's Thiago that can't quite get there. Good moments for Liverpool early on.
Just a word on Thiago, because of course he was picked to play in the Carabao Cup final at the end of February and got injured in the warm-up, and he was a tearful figure on the sidelines. Firing today and very nearly opening the scoring, as you say. But there is very, very little to choose between these two. Here is Thiago. Nice ball into Diaz, who took it very well. Mane with him. Salah just backpedaling, give a bit more width on the right. Finding a corner. And the way that the ball caught Jorginho in the face, and Salah very much on the scene.
Salah coming inside. I think he's looking to play a crossfield pass. It's Jorginho.
Taken these days with head injuries, and rightly so. It's when you don't know the ball's coming, you have no time to react to soften the blow.
Zonal marking from Chelsea. Konate is good in the air. Van Dijk. This could be a threat.
Yeah, Konate opened the scoring in the semi-final. Remember, they went 3-0 up against Manchester City. Now they got the other two. Salah, has he kept it in? Both these clubs have had relatively easy draws through the earlier rounds. They didn't meet Premier League opposition until their semi-finals, but for Liverpool there was a big task against Manchester City, which they accomplished. Chelsea saw off Crystal Palace.
Well, Jorginho's a bit lucky there. He was 1v1. He's a good technical footballer. He's a good passer of the ball. He's not particularly quick, and Salah got the wrong side of him. They will miss Conte in that midfield.
Also keep a close eye on Kovacic, who looked absolutely out of contention. Mane, Diaz, Keita's coming into the middle. Naby Keita, and it's behind Salah. Just bisected the two Liverpool players who are arriving at pace, and with menace of forethought to the Chelsea goal. In by Alexander-Arnold. Very calmly done by James.
Well, what a start by Liverpool, and that man there, Diaz. Good play initially by Robertson. He's just about on the side, just about. 1v1 against Chalobah, takes him down the outside, and it's a good cutback. Not quite good enough for either Mane or Salah.
Charge. How about that for a snap clearance from Alisson? With Diaz, here's Keita. The beneficiary of Fabinho's absence. And Diaz is cutting through again. This is a real chance. Scrambled away, but only as far as Naby Keita, who wants to drive it back. And can't find the target, and Luis Diaz is annoyed with himself. One-on-one with the keeper, he couldn't convert. Well done, Edouard Mendy for Chelsea.
Well, a couple of great passes. The first one you mentioned from the goalkeeper, Alisson, the second one was from Alexander-Arnold. Watch when it comes to him here. He sees the run of Diaz. Chalobah isn't alive to the situation. And he just stands up for as long as he possibly could. Mendy. And the second shot from Keita, not a particularly good one. But at the moment, Liverpool are cutting Chelsea apart here. He actually went to ground quite early, but saved it with his feet in the end. Not a great finish from Diaz.
Mendy wanted to drop on it here and probably could have done, but Chalobah could take no risk, and he almost kicked it against Salah. It would have certainly flown into the net then. There's a problem here for the veteran Thiago Silva. It's as if the pace of Liverpool's attacking is damaging Chelsea tactically and physically.
Well, it's been a worrying opening for those Chelsea supporters. Diaz is getting in behind Reece James and down the side of Chalobah. And see what they're trying to do, Thomas Tuchel, by playing Rudiger almost as a left-back at times and pushing Alonso on. But if he does do that, he's got to get Reece James back into a normal right-back position. There's too much space in behind the right wing-back.
Well, Salah is a potential replacement. He has been involved a lot in the earlier rounds of the FA Cup. But it's not a change that Chelsea will want to have to make, and maybe they're not going to have to make it.
Well, I think he tried to deceive Mendy, didn't he? Threatened to pass it into the far corner and then go in at the near post. But he didn't get it right in the corner, or didn't lift it over the feet of Mendy.
He has to go round to the side of the pitch, Thiago Silva, if he is going to come back on. Chalobah did really well. Well, that clearance could have gone anywhere, but he must have seen just a little shaft of daylight to slam the ball through and get it away. But those Liverpool fans, understandably, are responding to the way their team has begun this cup final. Thiago Silva is back on, at least for the moment. Alexander-Arnold, this time not connecting with a teammate, unlike him. Chalobah having to operate in the middle.
Doesn't look good, does he, Thiago Silva? Just seeing him walk around, couldn't get back into position, limping quite obviously.
And when you play to your 38th year, you know how to manage situations, including injuries, but here, the intensity of Liverpool's play, the intensity of the global interest on this game. Back by James, with the help of Chalobah. Brings Thiago Silva into the play and gave the ball back as soon as he got it. Definitely one to keep an eye on.
He's struggling. He's just played that ball forward. He's limped away.
Marcus Alonso. By Van Dijk. Sense a real opportunity here for Liverpool. Diaz wants to line it up for himself. Blocked well by James again. Comes out to Robertson. Floats it towards Keita. Alexander-Arnold. The angle was against him. He was tempted enough to try and crack it goalwards. All Liverpool.
It looks too easy for Liverpool to pass it through Chelsea, to pass it around them. Another good ball played in for Diaz. On one occasion, he didn't make the most of the situation.
It's almost as if he's anxious to make up for the chance that was when he was one-on-one with Mendy. One or two other options to lay the ball off to. Having an amazing season, Sadio Mane. And there's the difference in the semi-final. Stones, Virgil van Dijk, a real powerhouse in the air. He's going to have a run at it, launch himself at it. Alexander-Arnold's delivery. Marte's there as well. Doesn't get as far as either of them, actually.
And the second header from set plays for Romelu Lukaku.
Thinking Alexander-Arnold at the throw. By Chalobah, not very far. Again, a little bit of breathing space for the London club. Indicator hasn't always been first choice. Thomas Tuchel probably would have expected to see him, knowing that Fabinho was declared out yesterday. But when Keita has played in Europe and in domestic matches, he's been impressive.
Yeah, and he plays a little bit further forward. It's almost a lopsided midfield with Henderson as the holding player. Thiago plays to the left-hand side of him. And you can see Keita plays that little bit further forward. As you can see, Liverpool dominating possession at the moment.
Diaz chasing again. Offside. That was one that the official didn't really have to wait and see what occurred from it. The ball was going away from the danger area, but he's working off the situation where Reece James is trying to help Chalobah. One way Stewart to play against the back three is to push three up against them, and that's exactly what Liverpool are doing,
and doing it to great effect as well. Haven't seen too much of Salah. Diaz has made some great runs down the side of in behind Chalobah.
Just a bomb ready for Christian Pulisic and Rudiger. Chelsea are possession-based team. They've got the strength of Lukaku. It was handball. Pulisic giving the Chelsea fans a little bit to cheer, but it wouldn't have counted.
Well, that's where you want to see Lukaku backing into defenders. It's a good ball played by Reece James. This is when he was playing for Inter. This would almost certainly have been a shot on target. He'd have backed in, he'd have got it under control, turned the defender. Not at the moment. Handball given.
Losing out. And, a free kick. Despite the protest from Thiago, I thought he got a piece of the ball.
Good play from Kovacic. Yes, clearly a foul. Thiago. Whatever he tries to claim here. Kovacic breaking into the box. It was high. It was late. I think he's lucky not to get a yellow card for that one.
But encouraging for Chelsea from Kovacic's point of view. It's his game. If he's anything less than 100%, he probably is a little bit less, but that was a snapshot from his A game. Well, they've got good delivery here, either right foot or left foot, James or Alonso. Been a little cross a bit in these early minutes. Alonso takes and then he puts it over the runner. It wasn't a very dangerous run. It went straight to Alisson. And this is a dangerous run for Liverpool from Salah. Of course, once off Chelsea, need to forget that these days.
Well, Route 1 football, but Route 1 football at its very best. Ball thrown out to the fullback, long ball over the top. Salah puts Marcus Alonso under a lot of pressure. Liverpool have a throw in the top third of the field.
Alexander-Arnold. Back by Henderson. Thiago. Go out, and Mane's going to make the most of it. And certainly put it into an area, but I think he caught one or two of his teammates by surprise. Another let off for Chelsea. Up to Lukaku. Kanate prepared to trade pound for pound in that contest.
Yeah, Lukaku was trying to hold off Kanate rather than getting in line with the ball and getting it under control.
Jorginho talking for his team rather than, I think, for himself.
He's finding it difficult at the moment. He's not quite sure whether to pick up Mane when he comes deep or stop the ball's being played into Keita. Keita's played in behind him at times.
Henderson. And for Mane to chase. Good headwork by Mendy. Wasn't sure whether he was inside or outside the area. Safe bet to do what he did. Safer bet.
You have to say again, the ball over the top, and it looks as though Mane's going to be the favourite. That's all it was, a straight ball over the top. And he defended it well enough in the end. Chalobah not happy with one or two things.
Mendy landing awkwardly. Put some weight on that left ankle, I think. There's always somebody who misses out. He's one of the unlucky ones today through injury. The Chelsea ladies are playing here. The women's team are playing tomorrow, aren't they?
Champions as well.
Chelsea trying for an FA Cup double. Robertson and some of the Chelsea team for tomorrow getting some time off to come and watch the action at Wembley, get a taste of what it's all about.
Good run again from Robertson. I haven't really seen anything of Pulisic and Mason Mount in the wide areas for Chelsea. It was Mason Mount that was chasing back and Robertson just got beyond him.
Rudiger. It's a very nice touch from the Football Association, probably long overdue to have the two cup finals billed as a special weekend at Wembley. Thiago, very close to having just to make sure it doesn't get out of hand here.
Well, the previous one was a poor challenge from him. That one I thought was a decent challenge on Jorginho. Couldn't see a pass.
Chalobah. And now it's Tony Rudiger. Pulisic gives and goes, but not coming back his way. Kovacic. Chelsea just have to get through this almost gale-force start from Liverpool. And it'll be hard to keep it up on a warm afternoon. James. Pulisic's there! Well, he scored the opening goal in the cup final 2 years ago. It wasn't enough. They lost 2-1 to Arsenal, picked out by Mount. But that was more what Chelsea are capable of.
And it was started by Thiago Silva with a good diagonal ball. And actually on this occasion, Robertson doesn't defend it well enough. He then flies into the next challenge, and suddenly there's a 2v1 against Virgil van Dijk. And Mason Mount does everything right. Alexander-Arnold goes to sleep. And really, Pulisic should do better.
Came off his heel, I think, didn't it? Any sort of real contact. Could probably add a bit to it because it wasn't the hardest drill ball, but it was the best moment so far for Chelsea halfway through the first half.
Yeah, collision between Jorginho and Henderson.
Captain collision. Robertson.
Fabinho, who misses out.
Behind Roberto Firmino, who is a substitute. He hasn't played too much recently. Had the chance to press his claims to get the front three back to what it was so successfully for several seasons. Mane's enjoyed the central role that's happened because of that. And here's Van Dijk. And now Roberts. Thiago. And he's taken 3 players to stop Thiago there. Keita came in from a favourable angle and reminded the referee.
Just saw a great example of Liverpool's very high line. When the ball came to, I think it was Chalobah, just as he was about to pull the trigger, Liverpool stepped up and Romelu Lukaku had run offside. That's why he had to go back and play it infield.
It's such a busy schedule, these two. Chelsea's 61st game, Liverpool's 60th, and they're not finished yet. James. Liverpool passing the ball so much better. Nothing to show for it. Salah. Passed away by Rudiger. Henderson stepped in, given straight back to him by Marcus Alonso. Alexander-Arnold. Diaz. Here's Sadio Mane. Liverpool are in the groove in the first 25 minutes, but it's Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0. The statistic that matters. Thiago. Keita is drifting out to this near touchline. Henderson. FA Cup final Liverpool team, the last time they played in the final 10 years ago, and they lost to Chelsea. Not to the ground off the ball, but Liverpool had the ball. Very Paulson was of a mind to stop it, but they don't have it now. Pulisic. Rudiger. It'll be hard to replace. It does look as though the new ownership will be able to get involved for too long, maybe at the end of the month, in terms of securing players to re-sign. And bringing new into the squad. They certainly need them. The Rudiger going, Christensen we believe as well. And this is better. And it's Marcus Alonso got a great chance. Alisson came out and it was a big spread, a successful one. Chelsea starting to get going, Stuart.
Yeah, great opportunity. On his left foot as well, Marcus Alonso. Alisson, who made the save, took a whack there.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
What a good opportunity that was for Marcus Alonso. Pulisic running with the ball. It looks like he'd taken too long and then just passed it inside of Alexander-Arnold.
Important saves at both ends.
He's going to kick the ball out, is he here? I have to say, it was a good save, but a big miss, wasn't it, from Alonso?
Yeah, he allowed Alisson to get too close to him, really. And, making the block does need some attention.
Here it is again, it's a good bit of build-up play. Pulisic starts to run with it. Alexander-Arnold doesn't even look at the run of Marcus Alonso. And the first touch from Marcus Alonso just got away from him and took him that little bit wider. Took him onto his left foot. but now Alisson's right on top of him. Almost no way that Alonso can score once he gets that close.
Nicely done by the American. Yeah, that touch cost him the chance, really. And he's Thomas Tuchel, well aware of the capability of Marcos Alonso to be a scoring left wing back. He's scored nearly 30 goals for Chelsea.
And those two players that you've just talked about, Rudiger and Alonso, were both out of favour, weren't they, for quite a while under the previous manager, Frank Lampard. Alonso in particular. But as soon as Thomas Tuchel came in, he brought those two back into the side, and they've performed really well for him.
Yes, it's always a great bonus for a manager to say, well, it's a clean slate, we all start again. This is get a closer view on what exactly is troubling Alisson. A connection, follow through for Marcos Alonso, just momentum.
There's the touch you were talking about, just gets away from him, and then he has to slide in on the challenge. Well played, the goalkeeper.
Kevin Kelleher, who was the hero of the Carabao Cup final, the League Cup final here in February. Here he is. In that mammoth penalty shootout in which Thomas Tuchel took a risk by changing his goalkeeper. So he kept out Arisa Balaga. And it went all the way down to the keepers. And Kelleher scored and Arisa Balaga didn't. And Liverpool went home with the trophy.
Well, Kepa was brought on, wasn't he, to save a penalty. He ended up missing one. Yeah, there you can see where the game is being played, and it's mainly been in the Chelsea defensive third. Liverpool, as we've seen, have been on the attack for most of the game.
Yeah, if we'd looked at that 5 minutes ago, I think it would have been even stronger, wouldn't it? Chelsea just had one or two moments. Alonso, and just before that, the Pulisic chance. So, half an hour gone. And another stoppage. And bearing in mind what lies ahead for Liverpool, the Liverpool fans all around the world concerned about this. Salah needs attention.
So he's just slightly worried about his hip here.
2 weeks away from the Champions League final. They're still in contention in the Premier League. Manchester City, who are above them, play tomorrow at West Ham. And then Liverpool go to Southampton in the league on Tuesday evening.
Well, Liverpool's opponents in the Champions League final, Real Madrid, have had the luxury of having already won the title. They can pick and choose the games where they play their best players. It does look as though we've seen the last of Mo Salah.
Oh, Diogo Jota would have been disappointed not to start, would not be wanting to come on in these circumstances, but it does represent a chance for the Portugal international. Well, it's early in the final. It does obviously smack of a precaution coming into the thinking as well. And for Jurgen Klopp, he knows he's got plenty of quality even to back up a player of Salah's standard.
Well, Jota had a very good spell earlier in the season where he looked to be their biggest threat, scoring goals with his head, making excellent runs. He can play anywhere across the front three. He's going to play exactly where Salah was playing, on the left-hand side, leaving Mane through the middle.
Jota scored the only goal in an awkward quarter-final away to Nottingham Forest. They're doing very well in the second tier of English football, trying to reclaim their Premier League status. Pulisic.
Good play from Mason Mount. diagonal pass to him, he got it under control. He did have a pass out wide, but he chose to go to Pulisic, whose first touch again. Don't really feel as though he thought he was going to make the most of this.
They're playing very much right and left, aren't they, Mount and Pulisic? Oh, Lukaku. Often a bit more fluidity across the front line when they play an out-and-out three. There's Lukaku. There's the point of the arrow, if you like. Konate, Keita, and Jota getting down to business.
Yeah, going back to your point, when he had that great season, or two great seasons at Inter, he actually played up front with a partner in the front two, Ricardo Martinez. What a good partnership it was.
Thiago. Remember, these two played 120 minutes in the League Cup final without finding a goal. It wasn't because they played cautious football either. It hasn't been cautious here so far. Although Liverpool have looked the more likely team and were certainly quicker into their stride, Chelsea have had a couple of good openings as well. Touch off by Keita. Here's Jota thinking about crossing it first time. Just not got too much pace on it. Henderson. Jota. This is Alexander-Arnold, who happy to let rip from distance. The goalkeeper has got the sun in his eyes. Keita.
Good defending, first of all by Reece James, didn't go too wide, he was round on the cover, and then by Kovacic, who made the knockdown very difficult for Liverpool to get under control.
Chelsea's 16th final, they've won it 8 times. Liverpool's 15th, 7 wins. They've embroidered the competition, different generations. In Chelsea's case, recently, his 5th final in 6 seasons. They've only won one of the previous ones. Manchester United, Eden Hazard penalty. Lovely run by Thiago. Fullback's narrow for Liverpool here. Jota's wide right. Keita doesn't come off. Also with a bit of room to counter-attack into. But, only Lukaku really upfield, and he's one against the two centre-backs in red. And the ball doesn't come his way, it comes Henderson's way. Mane. No foul. Pulisic. Nice footwork. Lukaku was played against Liverpool in Merseyside derbies during his stint with Everton. Played against Liverpool for Manchester United. Alonso, who is the left wing back again. A bit too much time. Rudiger, who often makes buccaneering breaks forward, hasn't had a chance to do that the way this game is shaped up. Here's Lukaku, trying to use his strength, maybe roll Van Dijk and get himself into a shooting position, particularly on his left foot.
Well, he took up the right position, he got his body in the right area, and then he didn't control the ball. And that was a worry for Van Dijk. And there you can see most of the top 5 passes. It's all been the midfield of Liverpool. Alexander-Arnold coming forward from right back. They have been in control of the ball for much of the game.
Nothing to show for it. Shout out to Thiago Silva, who's still out there. Kovacic had 1 or 2 bumps and bruises as well. Got there first, no damage. Wilson off the ball. It is so tightly contested. Every challenge produces a debate. Particularly from the men in the technical areas. It's very much the final we were expecting, Stuart, so far.
Yeah, I think the start caught us a little bit by surprise how
dominant Liverpool.
Dominant Liverpool were, the chances they created, the way Chelsea was so easy to play through. But it's just slowed down now, and Chelsea have had their moments. They created 2 very good chances. Alonso should have done better. Maybe so should have Pulisic.
Nicely done by Alexander-Arnold. He does have this licence to veer away from an orthodox right-back position. Good pressure by Chelsea. They forced Liverpool back. That kind of situation they were playing through, and then it's a mistake by Van Dijk. Seized on by Mount. Lukaku, it's on his weaker side. Now it's on his stronger side. Not sure quite where the pass was heading.
Really good play from Mason Mount. The reverse pass was a good one. He pitched it off Thiago. Of course, it's on Lukaku's weaker right foot. But once he chopped it back onto his left, he didn't really look confident about getting a shot away, did he?
Yeah, he was looking for support that wasn't quite there. Tuchel be feeling a little happier about the latter stage of the 40 minutes, and what a strike partnership they were. They've got a couple of goals by now. Rush and Dalglish.
Absolutely. Rush, blistering pace. And a superb finisher, Kenny Dalglish, the technical player, the passer, the turn away from situations. Brilliant.
A full forward for Liverpool here. Navigator on the ball, but did well actually to squeeze it away from the Chelsea press to Luis Diaz, exploring an avenue on the right. Jota. Henderson. Alexander-Arnold. And across in the middle. Jota is very good in the air for a smaller man. Canate. You're going to write yourself into the FA Cup history books.
Yeah, Jota wasn't particularly pleased because he'd made a good run from the left-hand side through the middle, wide open. Canate didn't even see it. Well, the intensity's just died down the last 5 or 6 minutes, both on the pitch and off the pitch. Crowd having a breather as well.
Chelsea in a slightly different position to the last 2 finals when they were the higher ranked team. They lost to Arsenal, who were below them in the league, and Leicester, of course, last season. But now they're below Liverpool. Steve Holland alongside Gareth Southgate. The Nations League come for England and all the European countries, and then the World Cup at the end of the year. Big year for those two, we've just seen on the screen. Alexander-Arnold hoping to be in that England squad. Jota thought he was away. Keita judged to have fouled. They'll have 4 added minutes. There was that stoppage for Thiago Silva. Jorginho needed some attention as well.
Yeah, just a fraction late from Keita. Jorginho getting out there and dealing with the situation.
Free kick to be taken by Rudiger. Towards Lukaku. Alonso. Pulisic had the chances for Chelsea. Alonso slip away. Indicator who stuck out a foot to good effect. Engrossing, as it always is between these two. Viewing whether in the stadium, it is wherever you're watching. Mistake by Kovacic, and he couldn't grab Mane. And Liverpool look to grab the lead here with Jota. Henderson knew the avenues to explore were to the left. And by Robertson, and Jota gets there. And it's the kind of finish that he's very good at, but not that time.
Well, I thought Mane missed the opportunity to start with when he was running with the ball. Diaz was wide open. It's all slowed down, switch of play, and then Jota again made a very good run in between the two centre-backs. Gets actually too much on it. Robertson with a really good cross right into the danger area. Big miss by Jota.
Confirmation of the 4 added minutes. Lukaku. Alisson to come. They being Van Dijk and Robertson. It didn't fail them, but it was an episode of tight margins.
Good from Lukaku.
Well, that's when you say a second player off him. Not really playing as a second out-and-out striker, but when it goes up in the air to Lukaku, somebody's got to gamble that he will flick it on. He's got the ability to do it. Jorginho. Lukaku on his stronger side. He was almost a bit too anxious to let fly. He didn't have a measure of control.
Well, a half chance. Good play from Chelsea. From the throw-in, they work it quite well. What a good pass it was from Jorginho. It's actually a better chance than I first thought. He's just got to keep it down here. Can't get his knee over the ball. But his movement was excellent to get away from Van Dijk, or certainly get in front of Van Dijk.
James. Let's give the free kick. Jorginho in the wars again. He was the culprit. So he was caught. Chalobah backed in. Fall from Mane. Free kick to Liverpool, who carried the fight to Chalobah and company. On Timo Werner. Wondering whether it might come down to substitutes in this tournament. And the 5, as there are today, will be in the Premier League next season. Contentious call by the authorities.
And that's why you can sometimes make early substitutions, like we saw with Salah. I don't know how badly injured he was, but as you mentioned, he's not running at full tilt. You can take him off and bring somebody else on.
Call for it and got it. Chalobah. Penalty. Deep into the first half here. To get deep into Chelsea territory, Liverpool. Jota. We would expect him. Lukaku. Just couldn't bring it under his control. That is the threat, though, when he's on his game and he can take it down like that, as you said, what he was doing in Italy. And Chelsea hoped the second coming at Stamford Bridge would bring to them.
Well, I've listened to a lot of people talk about why Lukaku hasn't been successful this season. They're saying they haven't got enough crosses into the box. Maybe Chelsea don't get the ball into the right areas for him. When he was playing in Serie A, he was scoring goals from anywhere around the field. He was getting the ball on the halfway line, beating 3 players, smashing it into the top corner. Didn't need great service. Just lost his confidence completely since he's been at Chelsea.
He started to grow in authority, as Tuchel's side have. Alonso had a good chance, Pulisic just before that, but Liverpool were the team that started as if it's going to be their day. Alisson was a spectator for much of the opening 20 minutes. But Diaz, who was the threat, got through, particularly in one incident where Mendy did well to keep it out. They didn't take full advantage of that superiority in the first half of the first half, and they go in at half-time, Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0. It certainly hasn't been dominated by defences. It's just the chances that have occurred. I think Liverpool 9 shots and only 1 on target. Chelsea 3 shots and only 1 on target. A good save apiece from both keepers, Stuart.
Yeah, I think in the first 20 minutes, Liverpool had some great opportunities. They were opening up Chelsea far too easily, but it evened itself up as the half wore on. But as you said, 2 really good saves by both goalkeepers.
Well, Liverpool, of course, made the substitution in the first half, and if you've only just joined us, if you're Liverpool inclined, you'll be concerned about Mo Salah. Went off, not stretchered off, not even really helped off too much, but they weren't going to take any chances with him. And Diogo Jota is on in that position that Salah occupies on the right of the front 3, although he's a similar style of player, really. Mason Mount knows that the flag would go up if he played it, so in the end, Alonso was good play in the sense that Mount got out of the way and allowed the cross to come in.
Well, the ball should have been played much earlier now, because Liverpool, he would have actually been onside as well, because I think that's really poor defending from Van Dijk. He just stood there and allowed the ball to be played in behind him. Penalty was that little bit deeper, and here's a big chance. Good first touch. Did everything right, didn't he?
Chelsea are in again. And Alisson saves again. It's a much better start to the second half.
Well, Pulisic with the chance, either side of Alisson. Every chance he scores.
James brought down, more pressure on Liverpool.
He didn't have to do too much defending in the first half. Diaz, and he has to come back against Reece James, the right wing back. There you can see quite clearly it is a foul. Doesn't get the ball. James was trying to stay on his feet. Here's the second of the chances. Alonso plays it into Lukaku. Good link-up play from Lukaku, and he tries to play it in at the near post.
It was a lovely link-up play, wasn't it? Just put it into the space that Pulisic could attack, and Chelsea, a bright beginning. We're wondering again why Chelsea are playing in yellow, not the normal blue. Players and the club are superstitious. They've had better results in yellow. Oh, and it's hit the bar. Alonso's free kick. Alisson was reaching for it, might have brushed his fingertips. Didn't seem to be too much deviation there. Alonso still on the right. Well, he's certainly been involved. It's really 3 efforts, 2 chances in his conventional position in this free kick.
Well, he tried one in the first half that went straight to Alisson, and all he's trying to do is bend it into a good area, and Alisson gets underneath it.
Well, Chelsea are at it. Lukaku suspiciously offside. Offside. They're attacking the end where their fans are massed now. Well, the same applies to Liverpool, of course.
And he just made his run a fraction too early on that occasion, Lukaku. But his set-up play was really good, and Tuchel's got to be happy with the way his team have come out to this second half. They've been on the front foot, they've won the ball back in good areas.
Just a reminder of the teams. No changes as yet for Chelsea, although Thiago Silva seemed to be in serious bother quite early in the first half, but there he is on the ball. As you can see, for Salah. James. Is it going to be Chelsea's turn? Could it be third time lucky after the disappointments against Arsenal 2 years ago, and against Leicester? Yuri Tielemans with that pile driver that deserved to win a cup final. Didn't look like it for 20 minutes, but this is a more composed Chelsea with more of a hint of danger to Liverpool in their chemistry. Jorginho. Alonso has been prominent. By Jota. Well, Ben Chilwell, talking about the players who miss out, Ben Chilwell's hardly played all season because he had a goal disallowed in the FA Cup final. Of course, a former Leicester player. It was a period of play where he was going to play at his old club. Leicester went on to win.
I think he also had a shot saved by Schmeichel, didn't he? Late on in that game. Brilliant save by Schmeichel against Leicester.
No, they're trying to get Liverpool going really for the first time since the restart. Here's Keita. Alexander-Arnold to fizz it across. A bit too much fizz on it in the end for Andy Robertson's. The fullbacks, as they do so often for Liverpool, to pave the way to victory.
Well, it's a good ball, isn't it? There's an overload against Reece James, who misses it. Robertson's unsure whether to try and throw himself at this with his head, try and use his body. In the end, he does neither. Big chance.
Jota's found some space and goes at Chelsea. Diaz is not far away. He certainly is not shy of shooting.
I think he had Mendy beaten there. Not from behind the goal. There's a lot of goal to aim for. Mendy started to move one way. I don't think Mendy was going to get there at all. It's a good effort from Diaz. Takes it inside James, inside Kovacic, tries to go back into the near post. Only a fraction wide, but the goalkeeper was nowhere near it. Well, there you can see Liverpool had more attempts, not so many on target, but They certainly were the better team in the first 20 minutes. Chelsea have probably edged this first period of the second half, apart from that moment from Diaz. Just a bit late. Thiago Silva on Mane.
Free kick to Liverpool. On the move. Chelsea cope. Well, there have been a number of niggly fouls and tactical fouls, if you like. You want to be polite about it.
That was probably the best that Mason Mount could hope for. There was nowhere for him to go. There was no pass on for him. Everybody was still trying to make their way up the field from that last corner. So, a good foul to win for Mason Mount.
Here's Rudiger. I hoped Thiago Silva was too wise for him. Here's Reece James. He's balanced on a knife edge at Wembley. Two of the country's best teams going at it, hammer and tongs, for a famous piece of silverware, and the goalkeepers are playing their part. Good hands from Alisson.
Good switch of play. Alonso trying to bend it into that, around about the penalty spot area. Alisson read it.
Liverpool are making mistakes that they didn't really make too often in the first half. More of a cutting edge about the team from Stamford Bridge. Lukaku's aerial strengths. Here's Reece James. Very good covering by Trent Alexander-Arnold, who does get caught out sometimes. The players coming in behind him, but he had his eye on the ball, which came in front of him, and was able to get it away. But Chelsea come again with James. Was a quarter of a chance, I suppose. Well, a slash at it, Marcus Alonso.
Yeah, the one player you want coming in at the back post is Marcus Alonso. So good, arriving at the right time. Jorginho does well, switches the play. Reece James bends it into a very good area. Just can't get on the end of it. Marcus Alonso, here's the previous move. As you mentioned, good covering on that occasion. Alexander-Arnold wasn't quite so good in the first half when Pulisic had his chance.
Chelsea pressing higher up the pitch, confident. Boosted by their supporters, of course. They never had support of any numbers in the two cup finals that they lost in the last 2 years with the pandemic regulations. Liverpool struggling to get it away. Can't get Thiago on the ball that they had so much joy with in the first half. And here he is. Now Van Dijk. Thiago. Mane. He's caught. He's bounced back onto his feet, and Liverpool trying to bounce into the attack here with Diaz. Robertson makes a run inside. And Reece James make sure the ball wasn't coming. Swept away by Chalobah. Not quite the ball back to Mount that Kovacic wanted to supply.
But there you saw the quality of Reece James defending. Really good pace to get back at Diaz. Diaz is quick. Reece James did brilliantly against him. it's a real question mark, isn't it, for Gareth Southgate? Who does he play at right back for England? Reece James, Alexander-Arnold. He's still, of course, got Kyle Walker.
And certainly both James and Walker have played as the right-sided centre-back in a three. It was a month ago, Thomas Tuchel was telling us that Chalobah was off injured at the time. He played Reece James as a right centre-back because James had too many injuries galloping forward down the right-hand side as a wing-back. He just wanted to get him on the pitch, get some minutes into his legs, but just rein in some of the power running that was disrupting his appearance schedule. 0-0. Been a good start to the second half. Marcus Alonso's free kick hit the bar at the other end. Given away by Mendy. So much focus on goalkeepers' distribution these days. Remember, they played each other 3 times this season, and the only separation between them was a penalty shootout here at Wembley after 2 goalless hours in the final of the League Cup. And that took a lot of penalties to separate them.
And again, it wasn't a negative game. There were so many glorious opportunities, good attempts in that League Cup final, as there's been today.
Thiago. As I look at it, appeals from Diaz and Jota. Steered out by Mendy, but won by Thiago. Does feel the law of football logic, if you like, something has to give. And we're nowhere near knowing. Any suggestion would be a guess, wouldn't it? It's such a proper match-up, this. Keita. Jota! Jota, not quite the slotter.
Again, the ball's won back in a good area. Robertson picks out a decent pass to start with. Mane round the corner. And Jota just pulls off the back of Rudiger and tries to go back across the goalkeeper. How many times have we seen this today? The ball just fizzing past the post. A couple of yards wide by the time it does cross the byline.
It's tense enough when you're a neutral, as we are. Klopp, who a little bit more, at the moment, animated. Thomas Tuchel can have his moments, no question about that. MPs from the same pod as well as coaches from the same country.
Yeah, Thomas Tuchel quite often shows his approval of when a player plays a poor pass. He throws his arms up in the air, turns round to the bench. Not sure that's always a good thing to do. Certainly 2 very motivated managers, 2 brilliant coaches.
Alexander-Arnold's throw had enough momentum to reach Thiago. Who uses Robertson, who put it into what's often referred to as the corridor of uncertainty, and Liverpool, who have, certainly in terms of the stats, better strikers than Chelsea, more prolific strikers. No one was attacking it, no one was taking that risk.
On that occasion, Reece James went too narrow and it allowed Robertson to get in behind Mount. As you said, nobody attacking the ball. Keita could have been the nearest to it, the midfield man. Mane didn't really burst the gut to get in there, and Jota was hanging out the back post.
And Van Dijk are the threats to Chelsea here. Different angle for it, but overcooked. Robertson, knowing that the centre-backs have stayed in there. Was certainly penalty ahead. Half thinking about going back, half thinking about staying forward. Alexander-Arnold, and he will stay forward, Virgil van Dijk. It's the Anfield roar you're hearing at Wembley. Goes towards the mid-post, it's way over him again. Put back by Henderson, could be the goalkeepers, and Mendy didn't fail Chelsea.
Usually Liverpool are so threatening from set plays with Konate and Van Dijk. That hasn't really been the case today. First half, Lukaku was in the near post space and dealt with a couple of balls into the box. Kind of been over-hit by Alexander-Arnold.
Mendy getting quite used now these days to goalkeepers getting caught in possession. For Zach Steffen in the semi-final here for Manchester City. Mane chased him down.
Conte is getting his instructions here. Interesting to see who he comes on for.
Maybe guess Kovacic. Sort of the way they looked and thought they'd get a whole game out of the two of them. Here's Keita, Alexander-Arnold, right for Jota. Alexander-Arnold trying to get it again. It does come to Jota, who's turning. Scrambled away by Chelsea, cut out by a long leg from Jordan Henderson. Again. Nicely into the feet of Mane. Thiago. Keita. Good strike. Took it early. Tried to catch the goalkeeper out in that respect. Good hands from Mendy.
His first touch is good here. Thiago picks him out. Drives himself into the box. Probably doesn't quite get enough power in it to trouble Mendy.
Rudiger. Oh, that could have been disastrous for Jorginho. But he is a very good technical player. He's not always, I've heard the criticism of him, he's not a great runner up and down the pitch. Not necessarily quick on the recovery, but here's a man who is a great runner. Kovacic, who's done very well after he traipsed off at Leeds United on Wednesday, with the look of a man who didn't think he might play again this season, let alone this week.
And I actually thought he did well today. He closed the ball down well, he pinched it off the Liverpool players, particularly in this second half. Had that run in the first half where he was brought down just on the edge of the box. He certainly played his part.
This would suggest, Stuart, wouldn't it, that Conte's the fitter of the two. Get Kovacic on, let him go as far as he can, but bring him on as a sub. We're not quite so sure that he'll last long enough, whereas N'Golo Conte, of course, wonderful stamina. Here is Alonso. Oh, the shin dip.
I think everybody expected him to play it first time and backed off of him. He could actually have taken a touch there.
Yeah.
Marcus Alonso.
To the three-quarter mark of the 90 minutes of regulation time. Extra time, of course, is in the rules. The penalty shootout that these two went to in the League Cup final. Mount. Alonso again. So much thought goes into Mason Mount's play. He's very rarely left out. Test of his stamina, he's got bags of that, and here he is in a good crossing position. Lukaku went for it or not. It comes to James, and in the end, this drilled wide. It's another shot off target from Christian Pulisic. Gets himself, by playing a little bit deeper, gets into these positions around the edge of the penalty area. But he just can't find the one to win the cup.
This is just as you were talking about. Mason Mount did really well. Lukaku actually ducked underneath it, thought that somebody else was coming in behind. Reece James with a decent pass, and he's just beyond that near post. Very difficult for him to get that on target around those Liverpool defenders.
It's been much more about Chelsea in the second half. Liverpool have had their moments, of course. James. Oh, it's a mistake by Thiago Silva. Mane. To do it himself. He's got a foot in. Jota. Calling for a foul. Here's Diaz trying to bend it. Gives Wembley another special FA Cup final memory. Great intent, not quite great enough execution.
Well, he did everything right. He picked up the ball because there was a good overlapping run. Let's see who makes the run. Thiago plays the ball in. Robertson makes the run. That means that James backs off, and it gives him time just to get it onto his right foot. James has to get tighter. Pulisic was backing off as well. The last 20 minutes or so, there's the stats. You just see Chelsea have slightly edged it in terms of possession. They have looked probably the more threatening side on 2 or 3 occasions. Very different to what we saw in the first 20 minutes of the game.
Jorginho picking out Alonso perfectly. Alonso wanted it back. It. Now we'll take a foul there. Stop anything being played in behind him, Thiago Silva. Even if he hadn't been suffering from that injury in the first half.
There's the push in the back. Took a whack in the face there as Mane tried to make the run beyond him.
We do have VAR. It's perceived to be sinister. He doesn't make any complaints.
He just puts his arm in his face, does Mane? He's just trying to probably hold him off. Ball was too long anyway. He just has to be careful, Mane, when he does things like that.
James Milner. His instructions. Probably he's been around the game long enough to be handing out the instructions, but it's going to come on. First played against Chelsea for Leeds United in the Premier League when he was 16. Caliber. Here's Conte. Some space for Naby Keita. Looking for Diaz on the inside of Caliber, but he couldn't get there.
Could Conte have taken his touch into the box? He tried to flick it round the corner. Or Pulisic. Actually, Mason Mount, I think he tried to play it round the corner too.
Yeah, it was Pulisic who played it into Conte, and with Conte's acceleration, he's never been the most confident finisher, I guess. pretty much everything else.
I think he thought that Robertson was tucking in that little bit more and he could play the ball round and get it to Mason Mount. A chance really for Conte.
And they're still waiting for the opportunity to come on. Thiago. Really good. So it was right on the money from Thiago. Naby Keita is off. And James Milner. There's a battery that never runs down, really.
Keita had his moments. Took up a very good position. He was interchanging at times with Mane. Mane would come deeper. Keita would make runs beyond him. Had one or two decent efforts as well. He did give Chelsea a problem in terms of the position that Jorginho had to play.
And straight into the action to receive the throw. Alexander-Arnold. He was involved for Manchester City when they lost to Wigan, one of the great upsets of recent times. Ben Watson's late header. Going to get something late-ish here to settle it between these two. Didn't need to follow through because Liverpool were going to get the throw, and they couldn't resist it.
Brilliant from James, came right across the field. Yes, you're right, you're absolutely right. Milner doesn't need to make the challenge.
Yes, Thomas, it was a foul. So we're at the 75-minute mark. Still not knowing which way this season's Emirates FA Cup is going to go. From the northwest of England to Merseyside to the southwest of London. Time to make yourself a hero, Stuart, isn't it, for someone out there?
Absolutely. Somebody's got to take a chance because there have been chances, have been moments. Are we going to see a moment of brilliance? A bit of combination play? Or is so often the case, a mistake somewhere? Could Timo Werner come on and use his pace to run in behind? Some tired legs out there. That's one choice for Thomas Tuchel.
There's a mistake by Robertson. Mount in, Conte in, Pulisic. Can he finish this one? No. He gets the corner. Certainly done his best to be at the sharp end. He hasn't quite got it sharp enough.
And Alexander-Arnold was high up the field and got back and made a very good challenge in the end. Pulisic was just about to hit that with his left foot.
Could this be the moment for Chelsea? Mason Mount will take the corner. Alisson will catch it. That's where fans are disappointed, where the ball goes straight into the goalkeeper's grasp. And not only that, the Chelsea fans will be disappointed because the counter-attack, it went the wrong way, but they've still got it back again with Alexander-Arnold. Thiago steps in. And the card is coming out for James.
What a missed opportunity for Liverpool.
Six players forward, yeah.
Massive overload. As you said, they chose the wrong option. James made one interception, and then was a fraction late on that challenge on Thiago. Probably just about deserved the yellow card. He has been immense. The right wing-back. Not happy, I think, with his own team on that occasion for not playing out wide.
Had to go right, didn't it? return to FA Cup final. Vast crowds, 84,897. Racing Wembley today. This is it, Stuart.
Thiago running with the ball. Jota he's looking, and that's the wrong pass. It's intercepted, doesn't even make the right man. Then Alexander-Arnold doesn't get it out of his feet because there was still space down the right-hand side. As you can see, Henderson throwing his arms up in the air.
Jordan Henderson knows what it's like to hold trophies aloft, but he hasn't held this one. Chelsea holding a high line. Henderson walks away to join the bigger players, prepared to attack it. Something clever in Liverpool's locker here. Robertson steps back. Alexander-Arnold ties it up, but it's Robertson who takes it. Liverpool head could get to it. Had to be done, I think. James Milner, left back. I mean, left back on the halfway line, not at left back. Well, it's starting to take its toll, the intensity of the match, the heat of the day. Back into his stride and back into position. James. Jota. Take it on again. Was he taken out by Chalobah? Not according to Craig Pawson. Alexander-Arnold. Better spell this from Liverpool. Oh, but Thiago has lost possession in a dangerous area. Conte. Alonso on the gallop, but it's Lukaku. Made sure that it didn't get to Pulisic. Mason Mount through his head skyward, thinking, oh, that was going to be maybe the moment. Who's had losing experiences at Wembley to last a lifetime, and he's only in the first few years of his career.
Well, he'd made a good run down the right-hand side. He wanted the ball played to him. The timing of the run was good. He went the other way. He was so frustrated.
Rudiger. Silva for Alonso, finding Alonso. Again, it's just that devil in the 6-yard box. Gamble to get there. Maybe it wasn't pinpoint perfect from Alonso, but it's into an area where you might expect somebody to get a bit closer to it than they did.
And Alonso has made run after run, hasn't he, down that left-hand side. Time and again, Alexander-Arnold hasn't actually seen it, and that's the case there. It's just a straight ball over the top of him. And he was here for his team's 4-0 loss against Arsenal in an FA Cup not so long ago. Prince William.
CH ready. James. Entering the part of proceedings where players start thinking how costly a mistake might be, but how valuable a goal might be. Oh, that was nearly it. Luis Diaz, who started the game as the most dangerous attacker, really finished the game Liverpool's way.
There again you see Antonio Rudiger is playing as a left-back here, and Diaz just gets the other side of him. It's a good first touch. Mane plays in the ball, great weight of pass. Mendy would say he probably had it covered. And he tried to go across the goalkeeper. Rudiger would have got a block in. So it was the right choice by Diaz to go into the near post.
Yeah, behind the goal, but very much on the outside of it. Alexander-Arnold switching the play superbly to Thiago. Diaz also switching the play to Milner. Oh, it's the post again for Andy Robertson. Liverpool twice on the cusp of winning the FA Cup. Diaz. We've got Chelsea on the ropes here. But not Salah picks himself up, and Chelsea have got to pick themselves up. Stuart Robson.
Well, what a chance that was for Robertson coming round the back. Made the right run. Cross was a good one. Some tired players out there.
Well, 2 years ago, Christian Pulisic scored and gave Chelsea a lead in a game they eventually lost. And here's Andy Robertson, who is so good at getting in at the back post.
He has to score, doesn't he? He has to score. What a pass that was from James Milner.
So off goes Romelu Lukaku. On comes Hakim Ziyech, certainly not like for like.
Well, Ziyech had a really good spell in January, February when the FA Cup started, and he was their key player. Saw him against Plymouth where he was outstanding.
Should be a corner. But, support from referee Pawson.
Well, they won't get a more clear-cut opportunity than that one for Robertson. The cross from Milner was inch perfect. Actually came off his shin in the end rather than the inside of his boot.
There is Robertson putting it forward, only on to the head of Thiago Silva. Chalobah trying to launch it up in the air. Head off by Pulisic. And Alisson had a good starting position. Players looking like they don't want extra time, they want to win it in the here and now. Free kick for Liverpool. Alexander-Arnold carrying the ball, Mason Mount chasing him.
Well, on first viewing, it looked as though Mason Mount had done everything right. On first viewing, this might tell us something different. No, he does everything right. He pokes the ball away from Trent Alexander-Arnold, who then kicks him in the calf.
3 minutes has added time. Van Dijk forced a bit wider than he expected. Couldn't do anything with it.
You'd think the one thing that Jurgen Klopp wouldn't want would be extra time with more league games, the Champions League coming up.
Diaz taking on Chalobah. He did well to stay with him, and the cutback was well covered.
Well, you have to get a lot of praise for Thiago Silva. He was injured early on in the game, didn't look as though he could carry on. Some of his defending, his reading of the game has been brilliant today.
Robertson, that's too close to the goalkeeper. No time for a fumble for Mendy. There wasn't one. Just went to the last knockings of extra time in the League Cup final. Mendy was replaced by Kepa Arrizabalaga in a move that didn't work out. They've done it before, Chelsea, and it had worked out. But
I don't think Thomas Tuchel will be thinking about doing that today.
I'd be very surprised. Alexander-Arnold, one-on-one with Mount. Chelsea's ball, Jurgen Klopp doesn't think so. Chalobah. Usually the last game of the season because of the COVID problems, getting the structure of English football back on track. Not quite the occasion this time, but I'm sure it will go back to that. But it's certainly a game for gladiators, for the shrewdest of managers, Tuchel and Klopp. Discuss football long into many a night in their native Germany. Both will be concerned here. Klopp that his player's got the speed, his player is Luis Diaz. And he tries to place it, and it just didn't curl back in. As we go into 3 added minutes, Stuart.
Well, credit again to Thiago Silva. Yes, he couldn't stop Diaz getting the shot away. Yes, he couldn't stop Diaz running down the side of him. But he did so well to hold him up here. Injured, an ageing player, but still a very good player. Made him come back on his right foot. He just can't bend it round on target, can he? Diaz, who's been excellent throughout the game. He's looked a real threat. The only thing missing has been his finishing.
Close his team, but Chelsea can stay the same. And it is so like the Carabao Cup final. They have gone at it. No cautious play. Very little soft pedalling in the game, really. Just trying to keep possession. It's not Liverpool's way to do that at all.
Yeah, on occasions Chelsea have tried to slow the game down because they were being outplayed.
Off goes Alexander-Arnold. Chelsea been called out here. Maybe. No. Mendy was on his toes, literally and metaphorically. Not now, but a touch of cramp. Alexander-Arnold was very quick thinking. There he goes.
He just overhits the cross, doesn't he? Very difficult for Diaz to do too much with that up against Chalobah. And there's the challenge from Mendy. Has to get it right. Nate jumping over the challenge in the end. I presume he wasn't trying to win a penalty.
Mendy bounced up. He can definitely presume he won't want to be substituted for any reason. And there he is, Kepa. Pondering, I guess.
I'm not sure he would want to be brought on after the last experience.
You always want to play, don't you? Especially in a final at Wembley, whatever the experience is. Jota. James responded, and he goes to Robertson. We're into the last few seconds of regulation time, and Milner trying to make sure Chelsea can't relax on the ball. Craig Pawson looks at his watch. Hasn't blown the final whistle yet. A bit of added time to added time. We go to extra time in the 2022 FA Cup final. In terms of clubs, it's a repeat of the League Cup final. In terms of the scoreline and indeed the nature of the match, Stuart Robson.
Well, it's certainly been another good game. Both sides have had their chances. They've had moments of domination. Liverpool early on, then Chelsea at the start of the second half. But the finishing hasn't quite matched the build-up play. And the goalkeepers have both had good games as well. Should be a good last 30 minutes here.
0-0 after 90. So we have been here before, not that long ago. Period of extra time between Chelsea and Liverpool for silverware. Here's Rudiger. Out to James. Diaz was ahead of him, one of the substitutes. Here's Conte, another. Phil Chalobah, Thiago Silva and Rudiger as the back three for Thomas Tuchel, and Marcus Alonso, swashbuckling left back. You can see Milner's got Alonso in his sights. I think that's part of the reason perhaps he came on to help Alexander-Arnold. James. Conte. Ziyech. Deflects. Liverpool break here. They've got Sadio Mane. Not too much else. And that's N'Golo Conte for you. And we won the ball. Now he tries to trigger an attack. Chelsea look to end this sequence of successive defeats in FA Cup finals. Coming here 3 in a row was almost unthinkable for them. Looked in the first 20 minutes as though it was almost certain for them. They sorted themselves out.
I'd even go as far to say in that first 20 minutes it was almost as if they were waiting to be beaten. They looked shell-shocked. They looked as though they were too open. There's not enough energy about them. Somehow they got themselves back into the game. Those couple of chances on the counter-attack. They started winning the ball back in good areas.
Lukaku, it's Pulisic through the middle, supported by Ziyech and Mount. Trying to give maybe a little bit more trickery to the approach play.
Well, he doesn't look particularly happy, does he, no. Virgil van Dijk?
No. Leadership out there. Listen, of course, there's a captain, Firmino, wondering the opportunity might not for him. Mane's a very loud voice in the dressing room. Milner, of course, captain in all but name, really. Matip, I mentioned already. Robertson, the captain of Scotland. Maturity. Rudiger has played quite conservatively from his point of view. Chelsea have never really been so dominant. For him to come charging out in that sort of left-sided position, crossing the halfway line. What James is doing here. Good work by Matip, bringing a tune to the business. Pulisic again, he's done so many promising things.
They were trying to claim an offside, Liverpool, but you can see that Alexander-Arnold was 2 or 3 yards behind everybody else, but Matip does really well to get back across there. Having just come on, just into the pace of the game.
And they're crowding Alisson. And he gets his head to it. And he dropped him down. It was a complete miscue by Mount. Early from Jota. Not quite as accurately as they would have wanted. Giving Chelsea a few extra seconds to compose themselves defensively. And N'Golo Kanté makes sure nothing adversely happens with Diaz's presence again, a threat. And just that fact that he had to chase the ball, Luis Diaz.
Good defending, wasn't it, Kanté? He almost invited Diaz to go down the outside and then just showed a burst of pace.
Alonso, Ziyech is the target. It's a shove by Konate. Nothing from Craig Pawson. Ziyech making too much of it. Worth a shout, as they say.
It's certainly worth a shout, but the pass wasn't a great one.
He might have been offside anyway. Liverpool come again. Thiago. Diaz. Rudiger fronts him up. Henderson. "15 minutes each way. And extra time. And still sun-kissed Wembley.
Wasn't interested, was he, Craig Pawson? Doesn't need to play it in the air, Alonso. He could just roll it into the space. Just gets too much on it. Is there a little shove? May have been, but not enough for the referee to give a penalty. He wanted a penalty, of course he did.
It's beautifully taken. Diaz's pass by Mane. Rudiger gets back at him and has too much for Sadio Mane. And that takes a bit of doing, to be honest. And keeps it in. Kanté.
You made a comment a few moments ago. Rudiger hasn't driven forward. He's played within himself. He's defended very well. He's had a job to do today. To start with, to mark Salah. Salah went off, and it was to stay almost in a left-back position, but he's just been a very good defender. What a bit of pace that was from him.
Jorginho. Here's Alonso. Strange, you could almost say they don't quite know how to win, but they're absolutely determined not to lose. It's Luis Diaz who's going off for the return of Roberto Firmino, one of Klopp's old faithfuls, if you like. He's 30 now. Salah's coming up to 30. Mane is 30. So those three have done so much together since their mid-20s.
Yeah, what a performance from Diaz, apart from just curling one or two shots inside the post. His threat, his movement, his pace with the ball was excellent.
Alonso, there is Firmino and all his teammates. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, of whom we haven't seen too much in the back row there. The FA Cup with Arsenal. Thiago Silva, halfway through the first period of extra time. Chalobah used to be a ball boy for Chelsea. Now playing in a cup final. Others have that responsibility. Mount! That kind of shooting has been the reason why we're still here.
Well, that could have happened about 5 or 6 times before. Somebody cutting in on their right foot. Look as though they've hit it with a lot of pace, bending past the far post.
There's a different ball used in the FA Cup. Whether the players feel that maybe there's not quite the purchase they can get on it.
And there you can see Liverpool have dominated in terms of attempts, but not enough on target from both sides.
Pulisic. Really good. A little bit further forward. Chalobah likewise. James. Ziyech. When you get the touch, you think it's going to be the goal. Pulisic going in. A lovely ball from Ziyech.
Yeah, good defending on this occasion by Alexander-Arnold. Alonso was in behind him.
Pulisic in front of him. Chelsea just trying to turn the screw here. Come back in again from Mount, but it's blocked by Thiago. Go back where we started, another corner. Mount on duty again.
You could say there's no Virgil van Dijk in the box, but when you look at Matip and Konate, still 2 very good headers of the ball.
Really good. Choice coming from deeper. It's a poor corner though. They're still in there though. Those in yellow. We're hoping for a better delivery from Mount. Foul. I was rather tempted into that, Thiago. The pressure stays on a couple of corners, a free kick now.
Yeah, they've had enough of Mason Mount's corners or free kicks. Some couple of poor ones. They've sent him away. Now comes Ziyech.
Chalobah. Free. Alonso's very good in the air as well. Touched away. A very good touch from Matip. Just have to glance it too much on it. It could be flying into the corner of Alisson's net. Don't touch it at all, and it could still be flying in by a Chelsea head into a corner of Alisson's net. They are locked together, these two. Another chance for Chelsea to break it open. And another time when the goal is not really threatened by an effort at it.
Yeah, Thiago Silva, as he's done quite often in Chelsea colours, he's first to the ball in the box. He's not the biggest centre-back. He's got good movement. At times his jumps well. Just trying to flick it into that far post.
He scored 5 goals for them. Chalobah.
Nail biting stuff for all the fans inside this stadium.
The crowd doing their best to keep the energy in the legs, the belief in the hearts. I'm sure that's still there. Where one misjudgment, one miscalculation, one moment of pure inspiration turn parity into victory. himself up. A very involved game. Matic. Milner. Arriving, Thiago Silva reading and then wincing. As you said earlier, Stuart, that he's done very, very well. If he's feeling pain, he's disguised it. Milner. Corner for Liverpool. Right on the cusp of half-time in extra time.
Now it's up to the likes of Rudiger, Thiago Silva, Chalobah, Alonso in that near post space. They've got to defend this for Chelsea. Matip and Canate, they'll be the threat.
And Roberto Firmino, of course, is on the scene now. Get free. By Mendy. And by Henderson. Must be half-time. It is. Anything you've spotted, Stuart, to suggest it might go one way or the other?
Well, I think Chelsea started to control the flow of the game. I think the substitutions that Klopp has made, they're playing a bit off the cuff at the moment, Liverpool. You can just see there's more of a pattern about Chelsea. They've decided to not go with Lukaku. They obviously haven't got Lukaku on the pitch now. They've got the three players that are rotating their positions up front. Conte's doing a good job in the midfield. So at the moment, I would say Chelsea, if anybody is to win it in extra time, I think it could be Chelsea.
We're still 0-0 halfway through extra time. Thiago has a lot of experience, but we're seeing Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who came on much earlier in the FA Cup semi-final here and opened the scoring. A 2-0 win. And here's Loftus-Cheek. And the captain's on. Caesar. And it's Chalobah who's gone off, not Thiago Silva, which is Chelsea. Good news, they'll need his sense of control at the back. No disrespect to the youngster, who's done very well, Trevor Chalobah, who's always the other Chalobah to Nathaniel, who played once for England and won the Premier League medal with Chelsea a few years back.
Azpilicueta's gone into the right-sided centre-half position. James is going to stay at wing-back.
So we're 15 minutes away from another penalty shootout at Wembley between these two. Well, he worked really hard, and it's just his finishing, Christian Pulisic, that let him down. One back by Loftus-Cheek. All a bit harum-scarum with the new players adjusting to their positions and the tempo of the game, which had been long set. Well, they've been watching it. Ziyech is now on the left. And it looks like Loftus-Cheek is playing through the middle, Stuart.
He's in the centre-forward position at the moment, which is a surprise.
Alonso. Headed off by Henderson. Here's Conte. James. Loftus-Cheek there. Alexander-Arnold. And Ziyech.
Well, the referee wouldn't have seen this, so it's up to the VAR if it is in the box. If anything was wrong with the challenge by Alexander-Arnold, who was trying to stop Ziyech getting into the box. Just watch them in the middle of your picture at the moment. Now they're making their way into the box. Well, he's grabbing hold of his hand, but it was just outside the box and probably wasn't enough to give a penalty.
He was clutching at his man, but Chelsea were clutching at straws. Stamina for the spectators as well, but at least they've had previous in this respect, and they're getting full value for the investment in cup final tickets, which do not come cheap.
Yeah, what an atmosphere we've had inside the ground and outside of Wembley. The streets were full very early this morning.
Trying to judge the bounce. James was strong not once but twice. Jota was trying to nick it as it broke marginally free. Loftus-Cheek's offside, but Ziyech isn't. Didn't get it across. Alonso was in there, Loftus-Cheek was in there, Mount was in there. Their runs were in vain, but maybe not this one from Diogo Jota. Back by Mount. James. Jorginho, nicely played by Chelsea. Conte wants a run here, but Canate had the turn of foot. He's fitted in well, been a backup player. Tuchel thinks it's a foul, but I don't think you're going to get that.
Well, odds on there when Conte got to the ball, he was going to knock it past him and just burst away. Tuchel was saying, how did that happen?
Good challenge. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is a midfield player, really. Quite recently he's had a few games as the right wing-back. And here he is now with Lukaku off, Havertz injured. And Werner not on.
And is that one of the problems with Loftus-Cheek? Remember, I think it was against Luton in a previous FA Cup tie in this competition. He played as the right-sided centre-back in a back three. He's never really found a spot, has he, at Chelsea?
He hasn't convinced Thomas Tuchel of his total conviction. Not that he doesn't try, don't get me wrong, but his natural personality is not perhaps as warlike as managers want, if I can use that word. Forgive me if it's not appropriate. Andy Robertson's off. So close to winning it for Liverpool towards the end of regulation time. Kostas Tsimikas has been a good foil, a good stand-in, Greek international. Plays with the same sort of perky approach, covers the distance.
This man's had a great game, hasn't he? After an opening spell where I thought he was too high up the field and got caught out of position. After that first 20 minutes, he's been excellent. Reece James.
Fabinho, remember, is injured. Virgil van Dijk got injured during the match. Salah off, and then Robertson and Luis Diaz, excellent players, starters for Liverpool, presumably from the efforts of the action, being replaced as well. There is Tsimikas, but he's shown too much of it to James. Ball stays in play momentarily. I'm trying to find a piece of paper where I can record the penalties on, Stu.
Timo Werner must be slightly frustrated. He hasn't got a look in when you think that Loftus-Cheek has come onto the centre-forward position. Yeah. Timo Werner on occasions an out-and-out centre forward. He has been in Germany.
Up towards Firmino. A flick from Jorginho. A nice take from Alonso. No sign of fatigue there, and he's covered a lot of ground. Ziyech. Rudiger. Must feel like climbing a mountain. You're never going to get to the top. Especially for Chelsea. Lost the last two FA Cup finals and to Liverpool, the League Cup final. Some 11 weeks ago. James, lovely touch. And here's Loftus-Cheek. Alexander-Arnold gets his head to it. Alonso jumping for it. It falls Liverpool's way.
Well, they were all looking across at the assistant referee. They thought Loftus-Cheek was offside, but the assistant referee had a little point at Alexander-Arnold and said he was keeping everybody onside.
Henderson. So many differences now to the starting lineups for both sides. Another game within the overall contest. Canate. Henderson's been there from the start. Thiago. They couldn't quite take it on. With a lucky ricochet. James had no one to play it forward to. He's having a look, and Loftus-Cheek really running the channel. I think if he had done it, he would have been offside. But they need movement up front.
A shake of the head of one or two Chelsea fans. They know what's coming, I think.
James. Loftus-Cheek was very quick off the mark.
Well, there's the passing stat. You can see it's been fairly even. It's been an even game all round, hasn't it? Both sides have had their moments. But two equally matched teams here, as has been the case throughout the season. And they've played each other, it has to be said.
Tsimikas. Yeah, he was slightly impeded.
Looks like he's going to cross the ball. Good bit of skill. There's the arm that comes out from Reece James.
And it's a very high line. It will drop when it's delivered, but maybe not quite get away with it. And it's a goal kick. Always very much in vogue, isn't it? You get it from Liverpool, you get it from Manchester City. You've been a coach at a really good level, Stu. Do you see anything different that's being done these days?
In other leagues, one or two teams now are starting to hold a line on their own 6-yard box.
Really?
And looking to attack the balls that come into the box rather than going back towards their own goal.
So you're coming onto the ball.
So you're coming onto the ball.
Yeah.
Different coaches have had a look at that, and it's been quite successful. Thiago Silva now struggling.
It's been a monumental effort. Well, here's a surprise one. Ross Barkley, born in Liverpool, signed from Everton, never really established himself, certainly not in the last couple of seasons, been out on loan as well. He would take a penalty, but in the League Cup and they all took penalties that went that far.
Thomas Tuchel furious at the fourth official. I'm not quite sure why. Looked as though Alonso had taken the ball out.
Even a throw can be costly in the drama closing stages of a very tight FA Cup final. By Alonso, not big enough to win that one. Henderson. Chelsea's throw, nearly there.
Well, you can see why Real Madrid wanted Rudiger. He's been excellent today. He's just controlled himself. He's Loftus-Cheek is coming off here.
Ooh. Well, that's not going to help his self-belief, is it?
Well, he's asked to play in a strange position at centre-forward. He's tried to make some runs, maybe not as many as the manager wanted. And I think he's been a little bit harsh to his player to take him off. Back to what you said, maybe the manager doesn't think he's quite committed enough.
Yeah, it's hard to find the right words. So what he's actually, the words he uses, he's got to find the monster inside him. And that explains it properly to everybody.
He wants him to have a bit more devilment, I would say.
Yeah, maybe he hasn't seen that, or maybe his penalty record isn't very good and he's been looking around to see how it goes, but might not yet go. Block on the edge of the area, and Henderson. One added minute. Canate. James. Nice bit of pressure, it's out. Liverpool throw.
Maybe one more last chance. Here's the man that had a lot of chances. Diaz, what a game he had. Again, we'll say it, without that end product, that finish.
Yeah, you say about Pulisic as well, who had probably a greatest number of chances for Chelsea. Here's Simicas, hooked away bravely by Marcos Alonso. Thinking he was fouled by Diego Jota, maybe he was.
And that's what the referee has given. Good defending by Alonso, he had to get that right. He didn't quite know what was over his shoulder. And that is the end of the extra time.
Well, we've had a lot of good football. We've had two teams totally committed to trying to win the cup. It's not been a defensive station from either side, but they know too much about each other, really. There's been no surprise element, and it is no surprise that at the end of another 2 hours of goalless football between Chelsea and Liverpool, it will be settled at Wembley for the second time this year from a penalty shootout. And this time Edouard Mendy is going to be in goal. Remember, if you weren't following that Carabao Cup final, he was taken off right towards the end for Arisa Balaga. It didn't work out. Luis Diaz has been given the sponsors manager of the match. I think there's plenty of substance in that, Stuart.
Absolutely, he was the biggest threat in terms of his movement, his pace, his ability to go past people with the ball. Had he scored one or two of those chances, that would have been a magnificent performance from him. And I'm sure
Kepa Arrizabalaga joining the conversation. Is he not going to join the match, though, is he?
Well, you can't think he would. Surely Thomas Tuchel wouldn't take that gamble again. I think the first time we ever saw that done was at the World Cup, wasn't it?
Tim Krul, was it? Is that the one you're thinking of?
Tim Krul in Brazil.
Yeah. Tim Krul, who's been playing in the Premier League in England this season with the bottom club Norwich City. Well, the Liverpool penalty takers have broken away from their huddle. First batch, anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you can say as a manager to the players. I'm sure he's not talking about the penalties now. He's talking about the overall performance. Or is he just looking at which he is? He's looking at which players want to take the penalty.
He is, yeah.
So he obviously hadn't made his mind up. They're now making the decisions. Who feels fresh? Who feels fit? Who feels happy about taking a penalty?
What order do you want to be in? Some like to go first, very first. Others who are perhaps a little bit more confident of their spot kick ability say, put me fifth, because I can win it. Sometimes finishes, obviously, it's 5 against 5, then into sudden death. And Virgil van Dijk smiling again. And Harvey Elliott there, who was involved in the League Cup.
Alisson just getting some instructions from the backroom staff, probably the goalkeeping coach. They've done their homework. Where do these Chelsea players usually take their penalties?
And which end of the ground will it be?
Didn't have too many big decisions to make, did he, Craig Paulson, today?
No, in a game that could have had a bit of niggle to it, I thought he handled it very well, and the players respected him, which they're credit for. It looks like it's at the Chelsea end. And this is now to get who goes first.
And that is a big advantage going first. The records will tell us. More teams win if they do take the first penalty.
Which is why we had that experiment with what they call the ABBA, where you go A for one team, then 2 Bs, and you go on to 2 As, and confused a lot of people, including the players themselves.
Didn't last very long, did it?
No, ABBA themselves lasted a lot longer.
I think they're making a virtual comeback.
I believe so. Whatever that is, you better explain it to me, Stuart. But wonderful music, and the music of football here, the harmony of the fans, Chelsea fans in particular, think this could be the determining factor, that they can have a real shout at the Liverpool penalty takers. And Chelsea are going to take the first penalty, as you say. History does show that it is slightly, it is, everyone calls it a lottery, don't they? A cup final decided by a lottery.
It's interesting that Marcus Alonso, who had his socks halfway down his shins, has pulled them up just to make himself look a bit fresher. Maybe a mental thing. A lot of pressure on him.
The penalty shootout starts here. Alonso gets the signal and scores. Of course, Alisson wasn't in goal in the League Cup shootout, so his knowledge will be from video replays and things, not from being out there on the turf.
Good penalty, Alonso. You never know whether he actually saw Alisson going the other way and then passed it into the other corner. Only he will know that.
First up for Liverpool is James Milner, another very experienced penalty taker, who won't be phased. That's not to say he'll score, but who's got the mental toughness to deal with the hostility that Chelsea fans are putting upon him. But it does mean he scores. That's a great penalty.
Just wonder how close Mendy was to this. It looks though it beat him for height.
Which is always a great thing to go for. Or maybe he pushed it. Did he push it up?
He did push it up. He got his top hand to it. He'll be disappointed that he didn't make a save there, Mendy.
Here's Azpilicueta. Oh, he's at the post. Whether Alisson got a touch to it. But the club skipper. The first blood in the shootout goes Alisson's way and Liverpool's way.
And he doesn't get a touch, he just plays it too wide, doesn't he? He's trying to wrap his foot round it. You see a bit of bend on the ball. Oh, frustration. Despair for Azpilicueta.
Thiago. Mendy dances on the line. He has to keep 1 foot on the line. And Thiago Panenkas him. Well, when your dad won the World Cup for Brazil via a penalty shootout, I suppose it's in the blood, really.
He was very calm, very composed, made it look very simple in the end.
Craig Pawson doesn't have a word with Alisson. Reece James had a fine game. Short run up and an emphatic penalty.
Yeah, I think he goes down the middle as well. Not quite a Panenka, but I think he just side foots it quite high into the net down the middle. It's okay if Alisson dies, which he did.
So Bobby Firmino. Pretty late substitute. You wouldn't have thought he'd truly got into the game. But this to keep Liverpool in front in the shootout. Stutter and again the height. And the confidence. 3 penalties each. 3-2 Liverpool lead.
Well, absolute relief for Firmino. He sprinted back to the halfway line. This meant so much to him. Oh, it's not a great penalty. It's not right in the corner, but he just slows Mendy down, and Mendy gets a hand to it again and can't push it away. He's had a couple of chances, Mendy, to make saves.
So Ross Barkley was brought on for just this moment. The Chelsea player born in Liverpool. Made his name with Everton, the great Liverpool rivals on Merseyside, and he can take a penalty all right.
Well, it's always a gamble putting somebody on to take a penalty when they haven't had any touches of the ball. They've been sat on the bench for over a couple of hours. It's not in the corner, but he strikes it nicely. We saw when England lost to Italy, that was the case.
Trent Alexander-Arnold, like Ross Barkley, from Liverpool, a local hero for the red side of Merseyside. A very good striker of a football, but taking corners and free kicks is not quite like taking a penalty in an FA Cup final shootout. How will he shape up? Chelsea hoping Mendy can come up with something, but he doesn't. Alexander-Arnold puts Liverpool on the brink. They are 4 out of 4.
Yeah, good penalty. Just side foots it into the opposite corner. Now Jorginho's he's been a great penalty taker for several years, and then he's had some really bad ones in recent times.
Yeah, his last one was saved by Fabianski at West Ham. He missed. Jordan Pickford outwitted him here at Wembley at this very end of the stadium in the Euro 2020 final. He has to score. Jorginho, and he does.
Well, it wasn't the hop, skip and jump.
No.
He didn't want to do that, he just passed it into the corner. Now he's demanding Mendy makes a save.
So who are Liverpool going to step forward here? It's Sadio Mane. No stranger to shootouts for club or country. And it's Senegalese against Senegalese. International teammates. They would have trained together. Almost a respectful look from Mane.
Yeah, Craig Paulson isn't letting Mendy go and have a chat with him, is he?
No.
Stood in his way. Get back on your line.
Well, in Senegal, everyone will be watching this. Mane marks out his run. And it's saved by Edouard Mendy. He came up with the save when Chelsea were begging him to do it. Even the great players can suffer anxiety in this situation, and Sadio Mane is a great player.
But what a good save. He has to have a strong hand. Had 2 opportunities before that to make saves and didn't, but that was a strong bottom hand. What a big moment for Chelsea.
So we're level after 5, 4 each. Hakim Ziyech, a very, very gifted left foot. Trying not to give the game away with the eyes.
Well, the referee is worried about a flare that's just come onto the field. He wants that cleared. I'm not sure that's really disturbing the players.
It is a problem for football in this country. Suddenly, these flares are getting into the ground. But the delay surely cannot help Ziyech, trying to keep his concentration here, and he has done. So Chelsea are back in front, and the onus now is on the next Liverpool player to score. Whipped in by Ziyech.
Great technique. No chance for Alisson whatsoever. Now Jota. You're probably now going into the penalty takers who didn't really want to take one.
And some players will say that. No, not me, boss. But Jota is up there. Mendy protected Chelsea with the last save. He can win it for Chelsea if he saves this one. Jota, but he doesn't.
Well, that could be the best of the lot. High into the corner. Goalkeeper going the wrong way. It's quite in the corner, but the height would have beaten Mendy anyway.
And Mason Mount, who, if he was thinking about it, who knows, but had such an unfortunate record in his career in matches at Wembley. Here he goes, and it's saved by Alisson. That unfortunate period goes on for this very gifted young player.
Well, what a shame for Mason Mount. Brilliant from Alisson. Again, a strong bottom hand.
Well, the next with a chance to win it for Liverpool is the man they call the Greek Scouser, Kostas Tsimikas. Chelsea need Mendy again. The highest of dramas here. Tsimikas for Liverpool, and wins it for Liverpool. A nerveless penalty, no wonder he's off and running. They win the FA Cup at the expense of Chelsea. And just like in the League Cup, in the final here in February, they've done it via a penalty shootout. A domestic double, their quadruple is still on. An unwanted history for Chelsea. 3 FA Cup final defeats in a row. Throw in that League Cup final as well. It's been a wretched Wembley for them in recent years. Stuart Robson.
Well, it certainly has been a wretched time for them at Wembley, but they played their part in another very good game here. Yes, they were outplayed in the first 20 minutes, but over the course of the 90 minutes, the 120 minutes, they were probably Liverpool's equal. And it's down to penalties, and Alisson Becker has made a couple of very good saves, or one very good save, to win the game for Liverpool.
Well, Jurgen Klopp drives them on. He strives for glory. He strives to win every game. And Chelsea have won this. Sorry, Liverpool have won this. Made Chelsea so sad at the end of it. The penalty shootout. The old veterans are up there leading the applause. Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0 after 120 minutes of tense football. Liverpool win 6-5 on penalties.
So high drama, Liverpool with 2 chances to win it in that shootout. Sadio Mane couldn't take it, but Tsimikas, who we heard from before the game, took his chance. Couldn't have got much more dramatic than that, Clive Allen.
Well, quite incredible. Very little between the two teams, not only in the League Cup final, but here in the FA Cup final. Lots and lots of chances during the game and extra time, but it came back down to penalties. And once again, it's a Liverpool squad that keep their nerve, that know how to get the job done, that know how to win. He's happy, Liverpool are happy, FA Cup winners.
Absolutely, and technically the quadruple is still on. That league might feel like it's getting away from them, but you never know. But still, they take League Cup, FA Cup and Champions League all day long, Liverpool. They've got 2 trophies now, just 2 to go. And Chelsea have lost 3 FA Cup finals in a row. They've become the first team to do that. Absolute desolation from their point of view, Clive.
Well, absolutely incredible for Chelsea Football Club. A club in turmoil at the moment, as we know, and have run Liverpool so close, but once again come up short by a fraction.
Wasn't to be his day. Lukaku starting. He had chances, neither side able to take their chances in the 120 minutes. Liverpool found their hero in that shootout. Not that Mendy did anything wrong, but crucial saves from Alisson and Kostas Tsimikas, the very unlikely hero, but he will savour every single moment of this, and why not? Here it is.
Well, it's a pressure kick, but he exquisitely places it perfectly into the bottom corner to give Liverpool their 2nd trophy of the season.
And off they went in celebration. See the fans behind. There's the reaction of the coach. Pure joy. He's looking for Tsimikas. He's off with the fans.
He's up in the air.
Well, if you play for glory, these are the moments that you savour. He'll never forget the day he won the cup for Liverpool. Nor will they ever forget it. This grand old competition never disappoints. Golden moments at Wembley, but desperate moments for Chelsea. We saw Azpilicueta there, who missed in the shootout. Mason Mount with the crucial one. There's two Liverpool legends, Ian Rush and Kenny Dalglish, watching on. Huge smiles on their faces. He'll be relieved, Sadio Mane.
He will, Dave, but he just wonder. It just puts a little bit of pressure on Manchester City now tomorrow with their Premier League campaign, with everything still to play for, and that third trophy and then Champions League final that Liverpool are still certainly in the hunt for.
End of an era for Chelsea as well. Players, well, they will be leaving. There'll be a new regime, not necessarily a new coach, of course, but they'll look now to the future. This was the final chance in 3 cup finals, and they've fallen short.
Yeah, so narrowly they've fallen short, but you've got to give credit to Liverpool, to the football club, to the supporters. They just have this real belief that they can win everything, and it's orchestrated by this man who's had a fantastic time since becoming the manager of Liverpool Football Club.
Yeah, what an appointment that was, and Klopp again gets one over on Tuchel. We were talking about it beforehand. They love him, he loves them. Contract extension, of course, for Jurgen Klopp, and he will lead the celebrations here. Of course, they'll hope to be doing this in Paris in the Champions League final as well, and who knows what might happen in the Premier League. Well, they'll be going up to get the trophy shortly. And these fans waited for that moment. It could have been, you know, if there'd been an early goal, as there might have been, Clive, because for all the action we saw, that could have been one of the great cup finals. It could have been a 3-3 draw. It could still have gone to extra time, but there were so many chances, particularly in the 90.
Absolutely. It was a fabulous FA Cup tie, a fabulous 0-0 draw after 90 minutes, after 120 minutes. But desperation, I feel, for Chelsea at the end of it. But for this young man, a day he'll never, ever forget.
It's a sign, too, of what Jurgen Klopp always says, what we were hearing from Liverpool. Look at the tears there, goodness me, up in the stands. It means so much, doesn't it, when it doesn't go your way? But you have to have days like this. She'll learn to enjoy the good ones. Liverpool fans know that as well. But yeah, they were talking beforehand about how it's a team, all 40 of them, you know, in terms of a squad. Really big squad with the young players as well. And they all play their part, and that's what Tsimikas has done today.
Well, that's exactly what's happened. A number of changes from Jurgen Klopp, substitutes, and Tsimikas coming on for Robertson, who went mighty close for Liverpool. But Tsimikas has come on to certainly contribute massively, as has all the squad for Jurgen Klopp. And they're still going on all 4 fronts. 2 in the bag.
Absolutely. What next for Liverpool? What success they're having under Jurgen Klopp, and they're enjoying every single moment. They are the outstanding team at the moment in the country. They've surged, and maybe too late to win the Premier League, but goodness me, they're still enjoying some season. But then when you look at it from the other point of view, you see the desperate desolation of the Chelsea players. There's the man who's going to have the honour of lifting this grand old trophy. Special word for Henderson from Jurgen Klopp. Well, the scene is set. Tsimikas still with a huge, huge smile on his face. Here it is again.
Well, it certainly is a pressure kick, the one to win the FA Cup. And I think he showed immense composure and confidence. And he's going to enjoy every single second of it.
Looks intent on doing that. There's added pressure, particularly given that he just watched his teammate fail to win Liverpool the FA Cup. But the slip from Mason Mount cost Chelsea. And Tsimikas didn't make the mistake that Sadio Mane made. Liverpool just keep on winning. So still the celebrations from Jurgen Klopp, but that tells us that the presentations are not too far away. We can get back now to our commentators, Stuart and Martin.
Well, it's a rueful Chelsea that climb the steps. Loses at Wembley yet again. And by the narrowest of margins. Sure, when they look back at particularly these two finals in the last 11 weeks, it's just about finishing. They don't have a 20-goal striker. They don't have a Mane. They don't have a Salah. They have players with the potential to do that. They haven't been doing it. And grabbing a goal to win a cup final has been beyond them.
You're absolutely right. When they bought Timo Werner, they thought he was going to be the 20-goal-a-season man. When they brought Lukaku back, I thought he was going to be a 30-goal-a-season man. I think they thought he was going to be that. And it hasn't quite worked out for them, so they've had a mixture of players playing in the front areas. Mason Mount playing on the right-hand side today, Pulisic playing on the left, who are very good footballers, but they're not going to score you 20 goals. And that's been their problem in these cup finals. Some good build-up play, they got themselves back into the game, they just couldn't finish it off.
Well, these mementos that they're receiving from the President of the FA, His Royal Highness the Duke of Cambridge, are not going to be treasured back home, really. Playing in an FA Cup final is obviously, it's a wonderful honour. Not that many players get. We often say, oh, he never played in an FA Cup final for a top player. But to play in it and lose, it takes a lot of the gloss off.
But I think it's not quite so bad, and I may be completely wrong here, but it's not quite so bad if you lose on penalty. If you get totally outplayed and get beaten 3-0,
like Watford got beaten 6-0 3 years ago.
You don't want to remember that cup final. But some of those players, like Reece James, can look at that cup final today and say, I gave it everything, I played really well. You know, it would go down in memory. It's a really good game for him, I'd imagine.
Chelsea, who have made no excuses about the difficulties that the ownership of the club, a wider issue than actually on the field on match day, but it can't make life easy around the club. And Mason Mount will be reflecting on what has he done wrong to Wembley to be so cruel to him.
You have to say he didn't look overly confident when he came up to take the penalty, did he? It was a slow run up. I think he almost telegraphed where he was going to play it, and Alisson made a good save. Of course he did. But you have to feel sorry for Mason Mount.
And Thomas Tuchel has made such an impact to get to various finals and win, of course, the Champions League. Really has taken Chelsea to places like this, but they are a club with a history of wanting not just the accolade of being there on the big day, but the silverware and the trophies that come with it. But the winning machine at the moment is this one. Players who made this walk just 11 weeks ago with a similar sense of triumph, similar sense of fatigue, had to put an awful lot into it to get their reward. Liverpool did win both trophies 21 years ago. Arsenal, your old club, did the same against Sheffield Wednesday in the early 90s. But it is, amidst all the other, every Premier League game has been like a cup final. Maybe that's why they do so well in the finals. That's what Jurgen Klopp says, oh, 15 more cup finals to go, you know, in March. And every game has felt like that.
And there was a time when he first came to the club when you'd suggest that he didn't think much of the FA Cup. He put out weak sides, they got knocked out fairly early in the tournaments, but he's realised that this is a great tournament, a great cup to win, and they've done it brilliantly over the course of this season.
They are the most decorated club in English football, and they have another chapter for their glorious history. And they are still the quad squad. They'll be backing West Ham to do them a favour tomorrow and play Manchester City at the London Stadium. They then play at Southampton on Tuesday, and we go to the final day next Sunday. Last winning final for Liverpool in the FA Cup, 2006. Steven Gerrard's final, it will always go down in history as. Jordan Henderson has held aloft many a trophy, but this is a new experience with this most famous of cups in the world of football. It's recognised all around the world for its history, for its drama. It takes you right to the edge, and it's taken these two teams right to the edge today. There will be concerns for Liverpool with the injuries that they might have picked up. We don't know the details yet. Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk in particular. I think Diaz and Robertson went off just through fatigue, and Robertson going off allowed Tsimikas to become the hero. Well, they're FA Cup winners for the 8th time, equaling Chelsea in that respect, but for the first time at the new Wembley. The wait is for the skipper at the end of the line. Not the end of the season, as it so often is. Certainly not for Liverpool. Here's Jordan Henderson.
The 2022 Emirates FA Cup.
The crowd are getting ready. You have to say it. These Reds are simply relentless. They are FA Cup winners 2022. A real team effort, a real squad effort to see off Chelsea again at Wembley. The finest of margins, but the finest of teams get there. They find a way to get there, even if Jurgen Klopp had to pick his penalty takers with great care, some of them less experienced. But the job, Stuart, has been done.
It certainly has. I thought they were brilliant for the first 20 minutes. Yes, they didn't play quite so well in the second half and extra time, but they're a team that have been magnificent all season. Can they now continue it in the other two competitions?
Well, they'll allow themselves half an hour or so before they think about that. But they will before they get back to their team hotel, or if they're going back to Liverpool tonight. But everyone's played a part and deserve the feel of the trophy. So finally at Wembley, we say it again, commiserations to Chelsea. Congratulations to the FA Cup winners, Liverpool.